Welcome to the Seattle Investors Club podcast with Julie Clark and Joe Bauer, where we share the nuts and bolts of real estate investing from our 20-plus years in the industry. Sit back, relax, listen, and immediately take action. Are you ready? Here we go.
Welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate Investing podcast. My name is Joe Bauer, and I'm here with my co-host, Julie Clark. Julie, how you doing today?
I'm feeling a little anxious today, Joe. It is Tuesday before the Thanksgiving holiday, and I just purchased this morning like $180 worth of roast prime rib that I feel like I have now overcommitted myself on. Feeling a little anxious about it, getting that baby all doctored up and cooked in time for a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner with some friends and family. So,
Wow.
I am not an expert cook. I have a beautiful kitchen for cooking, but I wouldn't say it's my number one skill set. So feeling a little anxious, but looking forward to it as well.
Nice.
So aloha to you. I know you're still in Hawaii. Tell us what's been going on this week.
Oh my gosh. So we're still in Kauai, and one of the major reasons why we came here was to do the Nepali Coast Trail, which is that trail that's at the north end of the island that's known for being amazing and beautiful, and people think of it as like Jurassic Park type pictures and all this stuff. And we came up here a year and a half ago to do it, and we literally flew in the day after they had a big storm and it washed the trail out and people lost their houses and all this stuff. So we didn't get to do it. Big deal. So we had a permit again this time and showed up, got 2 miles in, past a ranger, and the ranger says, we're closing the trail because you can't cross the river that's up ahead. So we go and we look at the river and it's pretty high and we're hemming and hawing and we see some people cross it down at where the river meets the ocean, because if the waves are out, like when the wave pushes out, you could kind of like scramble across it, but it was still like thigh deep and running pretty fast. So it wasn't.
Thanks, Joe. Now I'm going to be nervous about
Well, this is all gone. We're all done. So we actually ended up not crossing it, mostly because we didn't know what to expect. Although coming back, right? Because we cross it and then we have 20 miles or something like that left, or 18 miles left. So in that amount of time, who knows what could happen. And we had somebody in our group that needed to leave for the airport that later on that night. So we didn't do it. We're all sad. We go and, walk the 2 miles back. And I asked the ranger, I'm like, well, since we weren't able to do it and we got this permit, is there any way we could come back tomorrow or the next day? And he's like, since you guys are running it and you're not camping, actually, but you have a camping permit, sure, come back. I'll remember you and you can do it. So we get some more information and we watch. There's a website where you can actually watch how high the river is. And it turns out that it was low enough the next day to go out there. So we drive all the way over there. I didn't mention this before. It's like an hour and a half drive from where we're staying to this trail. And when we get there, it's looking great, awesome. We can cross the river according to the website. And we start up the first hill on the trail and it's downpouring. Like the sky opens up and monsoons on us.
Whoa.
The cool thing is that we were able to cross the river. No big deal. The river's like 2 feet lower. Not a big deal. Just hop across some rocks. But it monsoons on us for literally like 2.5 hours.
Oh, geez.
So the trail's like a stream in and of itself, like 4-6 inches of mud, just nasty. Wet, everything wet. Everything just like soaked.
Makes me feel like a mudslide could happen.
Oh yeah, it could. Usually we were hoping that they would close the trail if that was the case, but
I hope your life insurance agent doesn't listen to our podcast. Right?
No kidding. Well, without giving the blow by blow for the whole rest of it, it turns out that by the time we reached the end of the trail at around 11 miles, the sky stops dumping rain, and it's amazing day, and there's a beach at the end, and it was just like, it was one of those times where you have to work really hard to get something done. We had to show up 3 times. We had to fly to Hawaii twice, and it rained like you've never seen it rain before. And then by the time we got to the end, it was just, perfect weather.
Hey, kind of sounds like an analogy for real estate investing, right?
There you go.
Got to go through the pain to get to the good, It's all part of the process, maybe, right? And that is a good story. I can't wait to watch it by looking at all your social media stuff. And I'm going to transition over to the pain and the joy that we are going to share with you today with our friend Dion Johnson from Inexcella Properties, our old school friend. We've known Dion for a long.
What's up?
What's up, Dion?
Hey.
What's up? What's going on?
What's going down, Dion? Dion is hiding in his car at this moment, away from his 3 beautiful boys. What are the age of the boys?
4, 2, and 8 months.
Oh my man, that is
insane.
Serious. What are they doing right now? Are they like staring at you, or are they off with mom somewhere?
Yeah, they're looking through the window, like look at from the house into the car, like looking at me, like, what am I doing?
Good stuff. Well, many of you know Dion or have known Dion from back in the day on the local Seattle area real estate investing scene. Awesome guy, most lovable guy, beautiful family, and a great story that we're going to hear today. So Dion and Katie Johnson are local real estate investors with Inexcella Properties. Dion is also a full-time police officer and father of 3 beautiful boys that we just discussed, and a homesteader, right? We're going to hear more about that today. And he and his beautiful bride, Katie Johnson, are a team, and Katie is a real estate broker, and as well as many other skill sets and talents. And they've done, they're going to share our story, or Dion's going to share the story with us today about his experiences as a real estate investor, and what's even more fun is his life experiences so far. So welcome, Dion. Let me first say, I don't know if you guys are starting your own reality TV series or what, but you should. So can't wait to hear about what Join the Johnsons is all about. Let's hear it.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. We're having fun with the YouTube channel. Definitely, moving from King County, and that's our small 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo. We were living there with when our Micah was born. So it was like
I'm gonna back it up for you, because we're gonna go even deeper. That's where you're at now, but we wanna start from the beginning. So Joe is gonna kick us off with our traditional kickoff questions, so we can learn, the timelines and history of Mr. Dion here. So Joe, kick us off.
All right, let's go.
Julie is right, Dion. We got to go way back, man. So we want to know where you grew up. We want to know how that led you to your real estate, and then where you are today and how you're integrating that with your current job. So give it all to us.
Give it all. All right, man. We'll do. Oh, geez. So, yeah, I grew up in Renton, in the Renton area, Renton Skyway area, whoop, whoop, and graduated from Renton High. And then graduated from Renton High, then went to Northwest University in Kirkland, did a year there, and then started working for City Light, the power company there in Seattle. And was working there for about 10 years or so, and just always had that kind of that unction of wanting to do something more, wanting to work, make money. And so then fast forward, I got married to Katie. We got married, we met in church, and we were both doing youth ministry in the Central District and working with kids and outreach kids and stuff like that. And so then we got married and just started thinking, man, we want something different, want something more. And then we got into real estate investing. And so we went to one of our fortune builders. We joined them. gave all of our life savings away. Got a coach and learned the business and just started venturing into real estate investing. Started with just really kind of bird dogging. That's always been kind of my skill set, is really just bird dogging and finding a deal and putting it together, and just putting the right people there in place. And so that's kind of where I'm at, where it's brought me to this far, is just finding the deal and finding out the problems, the obstacles, the challenges, and putting everybody in place to get it done. So exactly. That's kind of a short analogy of where I came from, where I'm at to this point.
And now you're living out on a 4-acre farm out in Shelton, right? As a result,
yes.
of maybe your real estate skills, right? I mean, that
Oh yeah.
Right. So we're going to talk more about that today. So let's kick it off with, what was the first thing you did? You got some education through Fortune Builders, and I don't know if you were, like everybody else, maybe looking at Bigger Pockets back in the day. I know you joined us at Seattle Investors Club because that's where we met years and years ago. And so what'd you do when you first got started? You had an intention to be bird dog or wholesaling as you were learning the biz, and what did you start doing initially? Were you driving for dollars or cold calling or direct mail, or how'd you get your first deal?
I got you. So yeah, the first thing I started doing is I started doing direct mail marketing, and going out there and putting out the bandit signs. I made my own bandit signs from the dollar store, and and I would go and I would drive and put out my own bandit signs. I always generated a lot of calls, but no deals off of that. And then I love talking to people, so I love door knocking. So I would go and I would door knock and I would talk to people and ask them if they would like to sell their house. And so did that. And even when Katie and I got married, we would do that together as a family. It was pretty funny. But then just did a lot of networking. I mean, I did, like, when I first joined, I went to like a one networking event every week, every day, and just hit up all the networking events. And then I feel like that really powerful.
Beneficial to you now, looking back? Was that, of those things, what was the best method of pushing you forward? Was it the door knocking, or a combination of everything, or the networking, or what was it you feel gave you the confidence or the strength to keep going?
Yeah, I feel like the two things that would stand out is the door knocking and then the networking. Because, I would network with, a lot of different people, and then, people want to see what you're doing, when you want to go out to coffee with people, yeah, they're going to want to go out to coffee with the newbie, but they want to know, hey, what are you doing? So then the networking, I feel like, and the door knocking, because that's actually getting out there and that's like doing something. And then the networking was just awesome because, it's all about who your network is, your net worth is your net worth, as that saying goes. And so if you get out there and find something, you got the network that can help you take it down. So definitely was the network, because that's how I came across my first deal. It was an investor. They had a rehab deal and they didn't want to take it down. And then they simply just gave it to me, and it was in Puyallup. And they're like, hey, you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. And so it was a sweet little 2.5 month rehab, cosmetic. It was enough to get our feet wet.
Well, tell me, let's back it up there. So you got your first deal off another, we'll call it like a wholesale deal almost. You bought it off another investor that didn't want to close on it. And then how did you, from your networking efforts, how did you get the money together to pay for that deal, that first one?
It was just one that they didn't want to do. And so he just literally just handed it to me and said, hey, give me my, I think he wanted like, it was a referral fee. He's like, give me my referral fee when you close. And I was like, awesome. Thanks, man. I was super grateful, as we're super new and that helped us get going in the business,
Did you have to borrow some money from a hard money lender in order to buy it?
Yeah, we did. On that one we used East Side Funding, I believe, and we used some other Fortune Builder SIC members for the private money. So it was awesome.
Great.
Getting to work with people that are like minded and and help us take it down. So it was great. Yeah.
Let me point that out to you guys, how important what he just said is, that he got private money for his equity portion of that he was at one of the Seattle Investors Club events, it sounds like, and met somebody. I can tell you right now, last week at our Redmond East Side meetup, it was either last week or the week before, we had somebody there that is doing private lending, and another investor there that was looking to get some funds. Among all the other people there, would probably love to get them funds. And right there at that meeting, that was 1 week. The next week they came back and they had already done it. They're already in a deal together where that, member of SIC that comes out to our Redmond meetup lent money to somebody else that joins us as well. I mean, you guys are overlooking the power of, these meetups. I think if you're not attending those even today, I know there's a lot out there. Ours I love because it's different, it's smaller, and it's by design that way to be more personal. Instead of, they're all great. You should go to all of them. But I just want to let you guys and encourage you, that you can still meet people even today at those types of meetups to help fund your deal. So let's keep trucking. So you got some private money and you got a East Side Funding loan to take it down. And then your plan was to rehab it and just flip it, right?
Yeah, correct.
And so how'd that go? How was the process? Where did you get your initial contracts from normally Nee would be on this podcast with me today doing my first 3 deals, but I wasn't sure if that's what we were going to be talking about today. So shout out to Nee and Certain Lending, who is our co-host of this podcast on this podcast series. We'll give Nee a break today because it's Thanksgiving. But so how did you, what was the story? How'd you get your contracts on that first deal?
Yeah. So it was handed to us, and you talking about how I got the contractors?
Well, you had that. Yeah. What kind of construction contract did you use? Did you even have one? Did you use a general contractor that provided a contract, or did you use Fortune Builders stuff?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we use Fortune Builders contract, contractors contract that Scott Hildebrand went over and made sure it was just kind of up to date for Washington law. And so we had them use our contracts, and it's funny when you have contractors, look at that, because the contract automatically will weed out the flakes. And the people that are not, truthful, because they'll have a problem signing it, or they'll have a lot of questions about it. And it's like, hey man, if you have problems about these contracts, there's really a problem about your work, because if you're upstanding, you won't have a problem. And so we use their contracts, and I found my contractor from Home Advisor. And so it was literally, we closed we were closing. We were set to close, on like a Friday. So that Monday, we literally had like a contractor open house. So Home Advisor, you can kind of put your project in, and you can kind of get a lot of contractors out at once. And so we're like, hey, we're having a walkthrough this date. And then so I had like 5 or 6 contractors come through and look at it. And that's how we found our contractor. So it was tough because it was so fast and rushed, but hey, you got to get after it.
That's interesting. I don't know that I've heard anybody using that method of Home Advisor to post their job out there and then hold an open house. I know that's what Fortune Builders taught, or at least when I was paying attention back in the day, to let them come to the house and, have a look at the contract and, try and get in the game there with you. So that, and how did that go? Did it end up being a great process for you on that first one? Did your contractor turn out being great, or was it priced well, or, you think Home Advisor, maybe they're a bunch of retail priced people, but did you feel like you got a fair deal off those contractors, and was the process good, or did you have some bumps?
Yeah, you know what? I definitely said that there was some bumps in the road with Home Advisor. They're definitely the retail contractors. But we found a great contractor from there that was actually, he was an investor himself. And so he was doing a lot of projects in Olympia for himself and also other investors. And so it was just kind of like, tossing a fishing pole in a pond and seeing what would bite. And then as far as the process, it was a lot of work. I mean, me and my wife, we were there for 4 or 5 hours, meeting, talking to contractor to contractor, which can be tiring and exhausting. But we finally found one.
3 kids, like age 2 to 8 months. That makes you tired.
I think
you didn't know what you didn't know back then. You didn't know what the true definition of tired was back then. Let's go that way. Right?
Amen to that. You're right.
So did you end up making money on that deal, or did you have any construction bumps along the way?
Yeah, we made money from that. We bought it for $150. We held it for all closing and everything. We held it for 2 months and it closed, and we sold it for $245. Nice. So it made some pretty good cash on that, and it was just a cosmetic rehab and
cosmetic, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are the best deals. I think people maybe overlook. I think there's so many, if you have enough tools in your tool belt these days, like you have a real estate license and you have experience with construction, or you have a experienced construction crew that can provide efficiencies to you, and you have, you're not paying necessarily, 12% and 2 points on your deal. If you have tools in your tool belt these days, it seems like it might be harder to find, but you're given an advantage if you have, like I said, cost savings as such, that people should, with the loss of the predictability and stability of our market, those are the types of deals that I'm looking for. I'm looking for everything, but with a special eye on those quick turns, because we still are in a great market. It's just less predictable. So, if you can get in and out and, think you're going to make a quick, 25 or 30 or 25. Some people say, oh, I want to make, that 50, 60, 70, 80 or 100 or whatever their thresholds are. There's still the possibility for quick in and out to get a rise and competitive offer situation. If you can find the right properties, which it's easier to do if you have all the tools you need, real estate license, general contractor with some efficiency and, that kind of stuff. So that's awesome that you got one of those done as a taste of I call it prehab cosmetic stuff. So that was your first
Oh,
deal.
yes.
Then you're all excited after that, right? Now you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So you didn't quit your job.
Oh,
you
yeah.
still kept your job at that point. Still working for City Light at that point, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
What happened next? What'd you do with that money? Or did you put it into your business? Tell us more. Uh-oh.
That one was nice. They are you there?
Yeah, start over. You cut out on us for a second.
Okay. So they provided all the rehab, all the contractors, money, and then we just kind of ran the project. So that was nice. We just, we were more project managing, and then they just were kind of worrying about their other projects. So that was a nice one.
Was that your first or your second one? I missed it.
That was our second one, but it was a JV.
Okay. So you did a JV,
yeah,
and you funded some of the funds to it, and then you just got to ride along on that one.
No, we didn't even provide funds. We just project managed.
Okay. Who found the deal?
Just project managed.
Did somebody else find the deal, and then they brought you on as a project manager and you got to participate?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, that's a great setup that people would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, lots of new investors. What a wonderful way, if you can find it, to get some experience on your belt there. How did you find that opportunity?
Yeah. So just, again, networking and showing other investors that, hey, you're hungry and you're wanting to learn and you're wanting to grow. And they just offered, hey, we see that you're trying to, grow your business. Would you like mind? Would you want to be interested in, project managing this project and helping us out with that in that area? And we were like, yeah, sweet, right? No risk, no money. Hey, we're not getting as much money, but getting some money is better than none.
Did they give you like a flat number as far as payment, or did they give you a percent?
A percent, yeah. It was something low. I think it was like 20% or something like that. But
that is 20, not low. Yeah, 20. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. But everybody who's listening, let me caution you guys about one thing that we talk about at our mastermind in regards to that. If you're thinking like, hey, oh my God, I'd love to bring some project man. I have funds. I can take down a deal. We just need a deal. And I'll bring somebody on to project manage and share the wealth and give them a percentage. I love it. Those are awesome situations. But one small little side note of caution there, everybody, and come talk to us about the mastermind in detail about this more. And some of our lender friends can pipe in on this when we're, in person at our masterminds, is that if, you always have to have plan B and ideally plan C in place for, especially these days when like I said, we don't have the predictability and stability of our market, right? You got to be able to get out of your hard money loan. And that means that you might need to put a conventional loan and hold the property for a while if things don't go perfect these days on your project. And you got to remember that if somebody else owns 20% or more of the property, we can double check this with our lender buddies, like Keith Pitch at Loan Depot and, some of our conventional lender friends. But anybody who owns 20% or more of a property is required to have their full credit check in order to get the loan. So when you're partnering up with people or you're getting into a situation, just keep that in mind. That you are not only getting yourself a project manager, but you're also, if you give away too much of the farm, you are attaching yourself to a credit partner. So you'd want to know, you want to make sure they're not going to damage the credit process, just as a little side note for you guys there. And, if anybody has any questions about that, that's not what we're talking today, but just contact me at julie@seattleiinvestorsclub.com or come to one of our weekly meetups and we can dive into that more. But how lucky is that? Not lucky, I'll call what awesome effort you made to put yourself in that situation, by networking and being a great guy and showing that you're a go-getter. So you guys made money off that deal by project managing.
Yes. Right? Yeah. By project managing and coming along for the ride and, learning and growing and seeing, the ups and the downs of rehabbing, as it is not always pretty, so exactly. It was definitely, we learned a lot.
Anything go awry on that second project? Sounds like the first one was a quick cosmetic. Was this one a bigger project, the second one?
Yeah, this one was a bigger project. And actually, Julie, you mentioned earlier about using your skill set. So City Light, I operated a lot of machinery and things like that. So the backyard was completely, it needed a lot of love. And our investor, or the ones that were taking it down, our investors, partners, they didn't include enough money for the landscaping. So I rented a excavator and a dump truck, and I did the landscaping and mowed the yard and took down all the trees. And it was a couple truckloads I took out of there, huge stumps and trees, and we landscaped it. So that helped, bring the cost down a little bit because it was just not, the budget wasn't there. So it was overlooked. A lot of people don't.
Awesome. Because you have experience with excavation based on your day job. And, I encourage everybody whether you've been in it for a while or you've been, done a deal or two and you want to do more, sit and assess what your skill sets are that you can offer other people, right? I mean, that's a huge thing to be able to know how to operate an excavator and, do all that stuff and do it efficiently and things like that. That's a huge, huge skill set to offer somebody that might help, you guys go and assess what your own skill sets are. It doesn't have to be construction. It could be anything. What are you good at? What can you offer somebody that they might want to give you an opportunity to, partner up on a deal like Dion had? So that's good. You guys made money off that one?
Yeah, made money off that one, and yeah, that was a fun one. It was in Kent, and it was yeah, that was a fun project, and it was. I think we did that more in the summertime, so it was nice weather.
And that was just you networking to get that opportunity, right?
Yes, correct. Just networking, getting to know people, and then and then taking the relationship a little bit deeper. I like what you're doing with SIC and the new model of the smaller way, and getting it a little bit smaller, and getting to know people and
Face to
becoming
face.
friends. And so,
Spending time face
yeah,
to face, right? With deep
yep,
conversations, not
exactly,
like in passing, right? Yeah, it's super great.
right.
So now you're really excited because you have made money off 2 deals in a row. You guys are thinking, oh my God, this is great. Let's move on to number 3. What happened on number 3? How did you
Yeah.
get
So
it? How did you get number 3?
number 3, oh geez, so that came from a wholesaler, in North Seattle, and took it down. Super excited, right? You everybody's get all pumped and jacked up at the meetup groups, and so found it from a wholesaler.
Through
I was like, all
networking
right, then take it
again, right? Through
through,
networking.
yeah, through networking, and basically, Seattle was it is a crazy market, so contractors are an issue. I mean, if as a new person, it's tough. It's tough because some contractors don't want to work with you, and so it's tough to have a contractor lined up before you actually get a deal. So I was a little overzealous, right, and just kind of took it down before, and so I put out my earnest money, put out my my assignment fee to a wholesaler, and
Did you
my
pay the
money's there.
assignment
It's
fee? Did you pay the assignment fee before closing? At
Yep,
the
paid it.
assignment?
Or no, put it. That's actually that one. No, I put it into escrow.
Okay.
Yeah, put it into escrow. And so that one I had my private money lender lined up. Went out there, told the private lender, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Had a contractor come out, kind of like, hey, this is the plan. He said, yeah, we can do it. And so
So
that one, and then actually I had an architect.
did you have 100% private money on that deal except for, or on that one, you didn't use hard money, you had private money?
I was gonna use hard money and private money for the difference.
And so is that how you funded that one?
Yeah, that's how I was going to. It didn't. So we're getting to the meat of it. It actually didn't close.
Okay. Keep
Yeah.
going.
So I had, there was an issue with the closet and square footage. And so basically, we were going to finish off the basement, and I had an architect come out, confirm, hey, can we capture this additional square footage in the basement, and, and then also put a closet there. And he said, yeah, we can. So then that would get us up to our ARV that we needed. And so had a contractor, everybody's lined up, ready to go. Closing, we're sailing to closing. And then my private money lender backs out and says, hey, I don't believe that, or who I was going to use. I don't believe that you can do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have a contractor of my contractor says that, we can do it. We're ready to go, man. I was like, what? And so no, it pulls out. So I'm scrambling, right? Because I need like 110,000, to close and to do the project. So I have no gap funding. So literally that one I had to basically pull out, and I just didn't pull out. I found another investor to step in and, take my position, and do that one. And the people that did it, they actually made great money. But that one kind of sucked, right? It kind of hurts your ego. You have to pull out our project because you don't have the rest of the funding. So yeah, I had that one. I think I lost a couple grand on that one because the new investors didn't. I think I lost like $2,000 because they didn't. They negotiated down, and so I lost a couple grand on that.
You couldn't have gone back to the one that you just did the project management for and partner up with them again?
Right. No, they were already tapped out, and they were already doing a lot of deals, and so they weren't interested. They were already maxed out at what they were currently doing.
Okay, well there you go, $2,000 down. So let's keep going. What Now you're like bummer, but it's not a big enough ding that you've still seen the light on the beauty of the business. So now what happens?
Yeah.
What happened?
So the next one, yeah. So the next one, right? I'm trucking. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna escape the rat race. I'm gonna get free, right? Everything that we hear. So then I found a house in Mount Baker.
Are you
Again, a
still
wholesaler.
working for City Light at this point?
Yeah, still working for City Lights. As soon as I get off, I'm going to networking events. I'm out meeting people, and so still working full time. And I found one in Mount Baker from a wholesaler, and this one was interesting. It had a long close, so I think at this time it's like December, and it didn't need to close until February of the next year. And so it had a long close. But the house was super bad. It needed to be gutted. It was a total gut job, and it was like one of those old craftsman's, Julie, right? That a first-time investor probably shouldn't be looking at.
Right. Yep.
And it needed to be completely gutted. It needed to be completely the flow and everything needed to be redone. And so I was like, whatever. This investor was a little bit more aggressive. They wanted the money outside of escrow. So I gave him my $10,000 assignment fee. I gave him my $10,000 the other fee. And I'm jamming, right? So then I got an architect.
Let's back up. So on this deal, you paid the wholesaler at the time of assignment outside of escrow? I mean, you paid it at the time of assignment, you just wrote him a check.
You wrote him a check.
And was there what was the other fee you're talking about?
Yeah, it was the $10,000 assignment, and then oh gosh, what was the other one? I'm blanking.
Broker?
It was the assignment. Yeah, it was assignment fee, and what's the other one, Julie? When they got your assignment fee and you got your other fee, I'm blanking.
Not sure what that other fee would be. Well, you think about
no, maybe. Yeah. So, whatever. I give them $10,000 assignment outside of escrow. No, it was just $10,000. I'm getting that. Yeah, the other deal. It's a $10,000 assignment, and I'm jamming, right? So I brought in an architect since it was a long close. We were worrying about the flow of the house and everything like that. So we got the architect in there. We've got a designer in there. We're like jamming, right? We're laying out stuff, and they're doing their thing. And then private money. Well, not when private money was good to go, but then as time started getting to February, right when we needed to close, my contractor that I originally met out there, that said, "Hey, I can do it for this budget," and I said, "All right, great, that works." He pulls out. My contractor pulls out. And so I have no contractor. I have no one to do the work, Julie. So then I am scrambling all over Seattle to find a contractor to take this down. And everyone that's coming out that's coming to look at the property is all saying, "Oh man, this is going to take more of like 250, 300, which probably for a new guy, that probably is more of an accurate, rehab budget as opposed to 150 of what the original guy said, So there was no way I could do that one because I had no contractor. I think I had everybody probably in the whole investing world come and look at that one and say, yeah, because I was trying to basically, get out of it to take it over, and no one would take it. I mean, from
no one would take
all
it
the big guys.
Rehab budget was too high.
And the ARV, basically to get that top ARV, you was going to need to make dormers at the top, and that would cost too much. And because of the permitting with Seattle for dormers, it would take too long. It would just kill the deal. And so that was something that I didn't take into consideration was the contract, the budget. My budget was off on that one. And so I couldn't assign that one out. I had everybody, all the big players come out that you can imagine, and they were.
Let me give you guys a
sorry,
tip.
Dion.
Yeah, don't release any assignment fees prior to closing. Don't ever do that. That's you lost your assignment fee, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So 10 grand flushed right there and not able to close. What ended up happening with that property? Did somebody end up buying it and flipping it eventually buying it at a lower price, or what happened? Did you follow up? And
it's pretty crazy because I actually seen someone bought it that I knew. They ended up buying it for more than what I bought it for, and I'm like, what? How did you? So I never followed up and seen what the end product was. I need to drive by there and look. It will be interesting. But they bought it for way more than I had it for. Yeah, wow. Way more. Yeah, I had it for.
Again, everybody has, there's there's a lot of tools people can have in their tool belt. Like I said, if they're a general contractor or they have a crew that's super, super duper efficient, or they, who knows, maybe they ended up getting some seller financing that allowed them to pay more. There's all kinds of reasons why that could have happened, or they could have just lost their butt there on that one. Who knows? Be curious to know how that all went down. So maybe you'll tell me later, but, and we'll tell you guys on the next podcast. But okay, so you backed out of that one. The mistake being that you released your assignment fee, before it ever closed, which I think let you guys know that that's a no-no. We're not going to do that. Just for the reason that Dion explained, you should never do that. And if that means that you lose a deal because you're dealing with a wholesaler that requires that, which is insane to me, then lose the deal. That's my opinion. Unless everybody's a grown up, they can make their own decisions.
Hey guys, it's Julie here with a quick break from the show to discuss an opportunity some of you may have interest in, which is to work more closely with me. On almost a daily basis, I get calls from investors and brokers, both new and experienced, asking me for guidance or advice. I love helping you guys out, and it keeps me on my toes too. So with that said, I wanted to let you know that I have a private broker coaching community called the VIP Education Community. And the best part is that it's 100% free. That's right, it's free to join. So whether you're a traditional broker or a broker investor, my VIP education community offers personalized one-on-one coaching from not just me, but also from my experienced broker friends with expertise in all disciplines of real estate and real estate investing. We'll teach and share our modern marketing strategies, our tech and lead generation resources, plus teach you how to identify or offer up opportunities for yourself or for your clients using techniques such as seller financing, lease options, land entitlement deals, BRRRR investing, flipping, multifamily or commercial coaching, whatever you like. We've got it all covered for you. The future of real estate is changing fast, and to stay in the game, it's time to learn about all the options you can offer your buyer and seller clients, as well as, if you want, learn how to use those skills to grow your own real estate portfolio. If you'd like more details about joining my VIP education community, reach out to me at julie@seattleinvestorsclub.com or text me at 206-910-2985 or just send me a Facebook message. My new favorite phrase is community equals confidence. So let's navigate the future of real estate together. Now, back to the show.
Okay, so 10 grand on. So now we had a couple of wins, the first two. Then we had a $2,000 loss. Then we lost a deal in there, and just, then now you lost 10 grand on a wholesale fee of a deal that you couldn't get closed because of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a risk, guys, when you are doing deals that have a long close time, right? Things can change.
Yes.
You got to build in extra contingencies and conservative underwriting for those situations, especially these days when we have an election and stuff like that, as we all kind of comment stuff. Unfortunately, people get emotional about their decisions and they just want to get that first deal and they don't think of all those things. But let's move on to the next one. Now what happened? What happened next?
Yeah, so the next one. So then, and also on that one, what's that? I paid $3,000 to the architect, and I think I lost another. I think it was like $1,500 to the designer. So that was all on that deal that I lost. So that's extra money out of my pocket. And so then the next one's in Mount Baker. Oh, great area, right?
How are you feeling at this point, Dion? And now had a couple out of the gate that were good, and then you had a couple that were bad. How are you feeling at that point about moving forward?
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling like a failure and an idiot, and just everything below, right? Just total. This is not what that I heard about in fortune builders, right? Or just even just like real estate, right? Everybody I feel like talks about the successes and the pinnacles and the journeys, but nobody talks about, man, some of the failures and the heartache, and just some stupid decisions that you make just because you're new and you don't know, or
that's exactly why we have this podcast series, man, is just I think these are more informative probably than the other, podcast topics that we go over, is the trials and pitfalls and wins, but yes, including the trials and pitfalls along the process that newer investors are having on their first handful of deals. So we appreciate you sharing, honestly sharing all this with us today. So, okay. So now you're down and you're like, oh, woe is me. This is not as easy as it seems, but I'm still going to push forward. So what happened next?
Yeah. So the next one, it was in Seattle as well. And that one I was ready to go with. And again, contractor issues. I think that was the number one failure that I was experiencing, was contractor issues. And so that one I took down. Again, same wholesaler.
Let's back up for a second. What kind of contractor issues? Like the guy backing out and, after committing, which, with a long time frame, I don't know. But what other contractor issues were you having, as far as, you mean just finding a contractor, or, what's the experience up to that point? Is it more them sticking to what they're going to say, or showing up at all, or just finding them, period, how much time and effort it takes?
Yeah, just finding them, period, and really how much time it takes. I had a few contractors come out on the next one and look. Again, mistake. I worked with the same wholesaler on this one, and put my assignment fee outside of escrow. I think I put it outside of escrow, and just the timing and trying to find contractor was really tough. And then actually the contractor that I worked with in Puyallup was going to do it, and so he came down and looked at it, and I said, hey, give me a bid. And so I thought that he was going to take it down or do it for me. And he came out with a crazy, crazy number. And it's tough, right? Because you've got so many parts and pieces moving to when you want to get a project. So it's like, you have your contractor come out.
You've already released your wholesale fee, right? And you don't even have a solid bid from a contractor yet, right? So that's right there. Just, obviously, guys, you're not going to want to do this. This is awesome that Dion is sharing this with us, because it's such a great lesson. Never do it. Never do it.
No, right? Never, ever do it.
Okay, so still working on getting a bid. Yep,
still working on getting a bid. Money's out of my hand, and then my private money lender, where I finally do get a bid, and it's like a crazy bid, it's insane, and so there's
that contractor that gave you the insane crazy bid. That was your Puyallup guy, right?
Yes.
Right. So it wasn't like a home advisor guy that would be expected to be more higher priced. It was the guy that,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, you think you're developing a relationship with people, and, contractors, hey, they charge what they charge. And he just said, hey, Dion, for this work, this is what I'm charging, and hey, no, that's fine. Right. He has to put food on his table, but there's no way that I could do that one. So again, contractor issues, I couldn't find any contractor to do it within reason. I even subcontracting it myself. There was no way I could bring it in under budget, and the numbers just didn't work. And so basically I found another investor to take that one down and to do it instead of just bailing out. Right. It's like, I think that's also like another a lesson, right? It's like, okay, if you're going to bail out of a project, you can't do something, like stay to the end. Like, even though, it's kind of like lick your wounds, right? Find somebody else to do it, lose some money instead of just walking away and giving up. So I stayed.
Right? It's a good karma. It's a good,
right.
Right. So did you get your
So I stayed
feedback from this other investor then that took over?
Yeah, minus I think 3,000 on that one. He ended up negotiating with the end wholesaler and minus $3,000, so lost 3,000 on that. And so those were my losses back in 16. And you learned a ton of lessons, right? I think the number one lesson is you've got to have your contractor. I mean, Seattle's like another ballpark. You've got to have your players in place. Otherwise,
number one lesson would be don't pay your assignment fee prior to closing, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Right. Okay, well, so you're
Definitely.
like, now you're really going, what the hell's going on? So now what happened? What happened next? This is like
my gosh. So then what happened was
soap opera.
I found an apartment deal up in Seattle, and basically that was a guy that he had a couple lots in Seattle, right on Aurora, and it has NC commercial zoning, and wanted to sell. And I called him and asked him, hey, what do you want to sell? And he said, yeah. And he says, yeah, I have another investor that offered me $1.3 million. And I'm like, oh yeah, we could probably beat that, right? And I'm like, come on, I don't have no money in my pocket. We have 1.3 million. So confidence, right? It's all about who you know. So I found another investor. I said, hey man, here's the deal. I found somebody that wants to sell these lots in Seattle. I think something's there. And so basically that was a long-term deal. I mean, it was probably over a year of just following up, because we went out to meet the seller, my partner, and we went out and we met him and his wife, and we went over it because it was going to be a partnership with the owner. And so they wanted to know, they had a lot of questions. And so it was a lot of massaging, and we met them, and then they wanted to think about it for like 6 months. And so I just kept following up with them. And then one day I followed up with them, and he says, yeah, we're ready to go. And so it's still, it just passed permitting.
Wow.
And so I think on the first,
you bird dogged your way into a partnership on that one. The key being the follow up, right? The old FU, guys. Yeah, the old FU, which is the key to success. Taking action, right? Not analysis paralysis, but throwing some chaos into your life with action taking. Having a good, community equals confidence sort of thing. Dion just showed you right there. He acted as if community equals confidence, and he went to his network, and he was able to get this deal done by a combination of follow-up and relying on his community. I can't understate, I can't state enough how important it is to join a community, not just go to network and walk by and have short conversations with people. Get deep into a community, and your life will change in the real estate investing biz. I promise you that. Okay, so that's
so true.
That one is going through permitting, and that's a success. But no money made yet, because you're making your money later, right?
No, so actually, they gave me, I think, $25,000. And so here's the funny thing, right?
What?
So they gave me 25. Yeah, they gave me. Yeah. So at this point, I'm making my career change, and I'm in the academy. So my money goes down a little bit because I took a little pay cut while you're getting trained. And so they gave me $25,000.
Police Academy, right? You went from Seattle Light.
Yeah.
You quit your job and you're becoming a full-time police officer. So the academy that we're talking about is not the how to make your money in real estate academy. It's the Police Academy, which is called the Driving for Dollars, as Dion says, Patrolling for Dollars Academy.
Yes. Oh, yes. So they gave me, it was like $5,000 every month for 4 months. So while I was in the academy, I was getting $5,000 checks from them, which helped offset my cash while I was in the academy. So it was great, and that kept the drive for real estate, because during the academy I stopped doing real estate. I wasn't networking. I wasn't doing anything. So that kind of kept the hunger going, even while I was making that career change. So that was inspiring and encouraging.
So now you're a full-time police officer working some crazy hours out in the Shelton area?
No, I'm actually working for Seattle Police Department in Seattle.
Oh. Okay, awesome. I didn't know if you were in the Seattle area or boy, how's that? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, we get paid really, really well, and I'm working a lot of overtime because we're so short, as you can see in the news, as our chief was talking about yesterday. Officers are leaving, and it's definitely a tough place to police. It's very tough in the climate we're in, and so just working a ton. Pulling like 18-hour days.
Did Olivier become a police officer?
Olivier's in the process.
That is hilarious. We gotta get a photo of the two of you guys together. Not hilarious, it's awesome. Right? His background is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in the process. He's in backgrounds right now, and I mean, if everything goes well, he should be hired here soon once he checks everything out. So, but it's fun. It's rewarding. It's also we can make a ton of cash. I think one month I made $17,000 just in overtime. I mean, so it's like we can make a ton of money. Yeah, we make pretty good money. It's
wow,
pretty awesome.
Nice. Well, as you all know, that we encourage everybody absolutely not to quit their day job until they are 100% sustainable in their own cash flow in order to do that, and are bankable with a conventional lender. Because there are, as we've talked about before on previous podcasts, and especially the one with Keith Pitch from Loan Depot. Maybe you can link that one, Joe, down in the podcast notes there. But wow, I didn't realize that you could, make that much money in overtime. I mean, I have some friends that are retired police officers at this point, but holy smokes, maybe some people need to call Dion and learn more about that. Right? Police officer
it's pretty
by
insane
night,
because
real estate investor by day.
Seriously, I mean, since we're so short staffed, and then there's so many overtime opportunities, it's just literally you can work, day and night. And if you want to grind, I mean, I was really tired when I did that month, but I mean, the sky is the limit.
Now, are you able to find deals? Like, I know, joke, the patrolling for dollars, right? I mean, are you coming across? Yeah. Right there.
Yeah, definitely coming across deals, you see them. I mean, it's just like, oh, there's another one, right? Because it's all I'm doing. I'm driving through neighborhoods. I'm sitting in neighborhoods, and that's it. So you just right there, and so definitely patrolling for dollars is a lot of what I do.
Well, what happened? Well, let's get to did you make money off any deals, or are we still continuing the losing a little money here or there? Isn't there a one that you lost a bunch of money on, or did we already cover that one?
Yeah, we already, those three, those were the ones that I lost money on. And then made money on the apartment deal, and then did a seller financing joint venture in Hoquiam with another investor, and we made money on that one, and that was a win. So those are the ones that are up to date, and then we just have another two in Hoquiam that are seller financing, and those are just kind of long-term rentals, and we're going to sell them on lease options. And so we're just getting the rehab going and
really great
getting it planned.
So on those you have partnered up with somebody that's an expert at creative financing and options and seller financing and all that. Is that correct? Our buddy Jacob Weaver, who is one of my go-to buddies that I speak to almost daily myself. You guys, power of knowing creative real estate, which is what we talk about exactly at the Seattle masterminds and that kind of stuff, those types of topics. Open format, we talk about everything. There's no, like I said, there's no presentation or anything. But wow, what a powerful skill set to have is to understand creative financing and lease options and surrounding yourself with people that can coach you and teach you or partner with you on those types of deals, which sounds like the last few deals that you've gotten have been under that method, right?
Yeah, those were the ones. I originally had found these from a seller who she had a house in Seattle and Ballard. I made an offer with her. It didn't work out. But then a day later, she called me and says, "Hey, Dion, I have, these five houses down in Hoquiam." And at that time, I didn't know anything about Hoquiam, and I just told her, "Hey, we'll pass." So I sent it to another investor, and I said, "Hey, if you do anything with these, hey, send me a referral fee or whatever." And so he didn't do anything with them. And so she called me probably about a year and a half later, at this time, and she asked, "Hey, Dion, are you still interested?" No one ever bought them. And so I was like, she's like grandma. I was like, "All right, Barb, I'll look at them again." So that's when I called Jake. I was like, "Hey, man, I have these. I've known this lady for like a year and a half, 2 years now. Is there anything we can do?" And he's like, "Jacob's awesome, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I think that we could do something." I'm like, "All right, sweet," And so, we took down one. It was like, a really nice house. It was actually kind of like a little dollhouse in Aberdeen, just beautiful little house. Remodeled it and put it back on the market, and we sold that one in August. And then the other ones are just seller financing, subject to, and the plan is to sell them on lease options. So, but yeah, Jacob is awesome. He's such a cool guy. He's great.
Very cool guy. Very cool guy. In my inner circle, probably my number one guy. I love you, Jacob. Shout out to you, brother.
Straight up.
All good stuff. The theme here that I'm hearing is, how powerful your networking has allowed you to, pursue your full-time job and maybe even help you find deals as a police officer. How cool is that? Maybe Dion's going to be the new portal for all you people listening to get some cash flow in the police department, some overtime, and some deals. That'll be interesting. I want to know if anybody calls you after this and decides to go the police officer route. But well, that is all such good information. How the power of your network and your community can make you money, help you get out of deals. Help you do the right thing and pass on deals that you can't take on. And there's so much you can do when you have a great community and network. But I want to hear more about now what's going on. How did you get your property? You guys are out. You tell us the story. You guys were living in a 1-bedroom condo in Seattle, and now you're living out in 4 acres out in what, Shelton? How did that go down? And then tell us about your series or your show, I guess I'll say, on YouTube, Join the Johnsons.
Yeah, for sure. We were living in the Federal Way, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo with, at that time, it was Micah and Malachi. And at that time, I think Malachi was maybe 2, Micah was probably 6 months. And so in a 670 square foot condo, Julie, I mean, I would come home at night and, they're both, one's in the bedroom, one's in the living room, and Katie and I are in the bathroom, like talking, like the door's closed, we're in the bathroom, and that's like where we're talking because we have nowhere to go. It's insane. And so we found this one out here in Shelton, and we were looking for land. We were contemplating on building, and contemplating on just finding a house with some space, some land, some areas where the boys can run and be boys and just hang out. And we found it was listed for $67,000 on the MLS. And I was like, hold on, what's wrong with this thing? This thing has a manufactured home on 4 acres. I mean, and everything we were looking for, that doesn't exist, and so we were looking at a lot of land, and then we gave up on building because building was still pretty expensive after all the fees, even when you're doing a conventional lender and the points and everything. And so we found this one, and actually it was 15 offers that wanted this thing. And so my wife, she calls him. She's an agent, right? It helps out to either know a great agent or have an agent. She was the agent. She called him, the agent, and he was like, yeah, I can't believe people freaking want that turd of a house. That thing is just, I've got, it's 15 people want this thing. And she's like, yeah, this thing is like a manufactured home on land. And, even if the water and septic are still good, it's a great little place. And so we called him, and the thing is, it couldn't be bank financeable because of the condition it was in. It needed a rehab. And so what we did was, it was funny because the first lender we called, first hard money lender we called, first said, yeah, we'll do it. But then he found out it was a manufactured home. And then he's like, oh no, we can't do it. Right. So then we already signed at this point, like our everything. And so we then, didn't have any money to buy it, even at 150. And so we found another lender, hard money lender, and we were creative, right? Because usually you can't do that on a private residence. So we bought it through our LLC, and we used a hard money lender, and then also they knew a conventional lender that we knew. And so the plan was to take it down, remodel it, just like a rehab, remodel it with, buy with hard money. And then once we fix it up, refinance out and then finance, into a conventional loan. And so it was great. I mean, the people that the hard money lender and the conventional lender, they work together all the time and they do these deals all the time. So it was like really great. And then also when my wife called the hard money lender, shout out to networking, right? Because she was like, the lady was like, oh yeah, I know your husband, Dion. I met him at a meetup, and yeah, we totally could do that for you guys. And it was like, for us if we didn't know, if I'd never met this lady at a meetup, it was totally about all who you know. It was not East Side. Oh my gosh, no, not Rain City.
Intrust. Okay.
Yes, it was Intrust. Yeah, they did it, and then we've refinanced into a conventional loan with God, what is their name? But yeah, who they work with all the time.
So you're good to go.
Her name's Gwen.
So you approached it as an investment property to take it down, so you could get the hard money, and then remodeled it, got it financeable, and then closed it out with a conventional loan, and now it's your own personal homestead. And what you guys do out there? Tell us what's going on out there.
Oh my gosh, right? So we have an 1,800 square foot garden that we started this first year, and we try to grow everything under the sun. And so we're gardening. Next year, I'm trying to talk my wife into getting a cow. I want like cows. I want like chickens and goats. And she's like, let's just settle down, So she's pulling the brakes on me, but I want to get animals, and I think we'll start with chickens. I think that would be good. We'll start off with chickens. The boys love it. They're running around. We're doing firewood, cutting firewood. They're helping me split it, and we actually are heating our whole house with our new firewood stove that we got last year.
What'd you do?
And it's awesome.
Did you renovate the mobile home, or did you put a new one on there? What'd you do?
Yeah, I renovated it, so it was cosmetic. Julie was like, it just needed paint. So paint, carpet, painted the cabinets. And I think if you go to our YouTube channel, we actually did a little tour of it and a kind of a little bit of a story. But painted it, carpeted it. I did the landscaping, planted a new lawn, did some excavation work on the outside. And that was it. I needed to wire up the well. I had the well wired up because the current owner, he never had it wired up. He had it like operating off of a plug. So I had that wired up, the shop rewired. The well needed to be rewired because it was a divorce situation. So he cut a bunch of stuff, just as out of being, angry. And so that was it. I mean, and so it was literally like a miracle that because, houses, even manufactured homes on land is pretty expensive,
How did
and
you
so
beat
we
out
refinanced
offers?
Oh, so the agent, so she told her that we were investors as well. And he kind of hinted around what we needed to offer to beat everybody else out, which was 120.
Wow. So
120, Julie. Yeah, so 120. Bought it for 120. We put 30 into it, and then refinanced out of it. Got it appraised, and it appraised for I think it was 230.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, thank you. It was a win, definitely, because it was like, if we could sell, we, definitely be a great little profit, or just keep it. So we love it, and it's so quiet. Yeah, it is a commute up to Seattle, but it's so peaceful. I love it.
Oh man, sounds like you've gotten onto your dream piece of property there. Now you've got that. You can just build from there, continue on.
Yeah. Yep.
Can't wait to watch
Definitely.
what's going on. So people can see all this, and all the husband wife team with 3 little young children building out the farm life out there, and that's on YouTube at Join the Johnsons, right?
Yeah, that's right. Join the Johnsons. Yeah, that's it.
Well, that is all good stuff, man. I appreciate it. It's been so great to talk to you. We're going to start wrapping it up here. Such good lessons out there, guys, and Dion still got, his deals out there cooking, and awesome day job that's going to come in handy for him if he wants to do some buy and holds, as you guys get rolling, especially the great ones like you're doing with your creative financing, right? That's, you're just setting yourself up for a success there, and surrounding yourself with smart people that can help you take down deals in all kinds of sorts of ways. So, I look forward to seeing you sometime. Maybe when we kick off our Tacoma meetup, you might be able to, visit us down there sometime. But
I'd love to.
That'd be great. Other than that, I'm going to wrap it up so I can get trucking down here to Burien for our Seattle Investors Club meetup that is happening today. I think you guys all know by this point, if you listen to the podcast, we actually have a handful of locations going on here. We have a Burien meetup every Tuesday, which is more of a mastermind, this personal face-to-face, eat some food and deep dive, open discussion with all kinds of topics. It's different every week. There's always new people there. See, every week there's some people that come all the time. There's some people that come in and out. This is for, investors and wholesalers and brokers and investors and private money lenders, hard money lenders, everybody's welcome. And that's in Burien at Angelo's at 601 Southwest 153rd Street every Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday in Redmond at the Family Pancake House off Redmond Way from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Got a great crowd, really great discussions happening there as well. We have another meetup in Burlington at Bob's Burgers and Brews off Highway 99. That happens once a month. You'll have to check our meetup page at Seattle Investors Club. Go on to meetups, Seattle Investors Club. I can't remember what day of the week that is off the top of my head right now. But that's in Burlington once a month. And then also once a month, we've partnered up with our friend Dave Billings out in Kitsap for a Kitsap meetup. I think they just did that this past Monday, and they had 20 people at that meetup face-to-face, having great discussions. Again, I think that's the 3rd Monday of every month, I want to say, but check the Seattle Investors Club meetup page for all the details. And we're just nailing down our location for Tacoma, and then we'll be working on getting our North End location. It's just such a great opportunity to plug in and have something to snack on at the same time. So other than that, we hope to see you guys at one of those events, and everybody have a fantastic, or I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving, because by the time you're listening to this, Thanksgiving will have passed. So happy holidays from myself and Joe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Joe, where can they find the details?
Yeah, guys, the details and the show notes can be found at seattleinvestorsclub.com/93. That's seattleinvestorsclub.com/93. And if you like this podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast listening source. And reviews, we love to get reviews. In fact, we got a really funny review this week from someone who listened to our last podcast and actually gave us our first non-5-star review. They gave us 4 stars. So they must have still liked it pretty much. But they listened to that last one and said, unprofessional recording because of the snoring dog in the background. And they apparently didn't listen all the way to the end to realize that it was a dog. And we were both wondering who's snoring in the background, not wanting to say anything.
You guys, that's right. If you want to get some it's probably one of the most informative podcasts that we've ever done with our friend Natalie Kaladi, who is a real estate tax professional. Super, very good information if you want to learn about what type of entity that you might want to have in your real estate business, how that's taxed, as well as some tips on how to check in with your own tax professional or CPA to make sure they actually know what they're doing. You want to listen to that podcast for that information. But actually, even another reason to listen is damn funny, is that there is a hilarious thing that happens on that podcast that we didn't know until after we published it. And of course, Joe and I love a laugh, so we want to keep it there. And you will find out if you listen to that one. That's podcast number what? 92, I guess?
That is...
This is 93? Oh, I don't know.
It's actually 90. So that one's at SeattleInvestorsClub.com/90.
With Natalie Kaladi, which is spelled kind of funny. It's spelled Kolodij is our friend Natalie's. But if you want to laugh over the holidays, have a listen to that one too.
Yep.
But over and out, I'll catch you guys down either in Burien or on the east side or wherever I see you. Other than that.
All right.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for listening to the Seattle Investors Club podcast. If you have questions that you'd like to have answered on the show, shoot us an email at info@seattleinvestorsclub.com. Now go out, take that action, and build that real estate business. Thanks for listening.